Yo, what is up guys? I'm here hitting you up with a new Etheria restart video. So for today, I want to share some really helpful tips for you guys that could help you out, making your progression a lot easier, your team building a lot easier, like a little bit of quality of life. And also in case you are stuck, this might be something for you here. I don't know how many tips there are really, but I do want to mention a couple of points really that you should not be neglect and you can optimize on just to make your life a little bit easier. Now for the first tip, let's talk about preset loadouts. Preset loadouts are very helpful in this game because, as you know, we cannot save proper gear on units, so we do have to swap around a lot, and it is quite a nuisance. And I think I came up with like a good way to make really use of this preset loadout just to make your life easier no matter what you decide to grind. Now, first thing you need to know about the presets is you can only save up to 30 resets. So only 30 presets are possible, and you kind of wanna get the most out of your presets. So I do have like a couple of suggestions I can make to you guys, but you can also at the end of the day decide for yourself what you would like to do. But the way you wanna structure yourself is I have some options for you. Now, if you decide, for example, you wanna farm Terra, you wanna farm Aurora, or you wanna farm Doki Doki, or you wanna farm some shell dungeons, you can make some pretty useful presets in like an order. For example, I have a Aurora setup for my team where I just made a set which I called Oro Viper, Oro Linglao, Oro Lily, Oro Ziada, or if I use something else for DPS purposes, Oro Valerian, which I don't actually need anymore, so I'm probably gonna delete this one since I have a fixed set for that. And this is like one setup, so I know, okay, I want to farm Aurora. I go in here and I made, Aurora Linglao. So this is the stuff I specifically speed tuned for Aurora in terms of speed, in terms of accuracy, stuff like that. And then we continue. Then I did some fun stuff in the middle. That's just for me really, for testing purposes. But then it continues. Then we have for Terramaton, for example, Terra Holden, Terra Fangus, Terra Sanya, Terra Lily. This is what I set up. And then I obviously have my separate DPS set, which I'm using. And then the stuff still continues. Sharon Lily, Sharon Ditting, Sharon Valerian, in case I need it, Sharon Kachi. So I basically set up my dungeon farming teams in this way where I separate them and just call the first one is the name of the boss and the second one on what kind of unit it belongs. And then I made another one if I plan to play any sync or continue with any sync, for example, because there I kind of want to use more control, more debuff. And so I set the same logic up: sync cast, sync claw, sync Mio, stuff like that. Nikotsuki. And then this continues slightly, and then I did some adjustments here as well, added some sets. But also I came up with another thing which might be useful for you guys here. The one I came up with, which I also might be using moving forward, because with that idea I need way less in terms of gear setups, because I can just switch around maybe a little bit easier whatever shell you're using as the first name. So RT for artisan, and then the speed, and then the accuracy, right? Because if you think about it, currently you have your DPS has its DPS set, right? And then you have your supporters as well. And with your supporters, the only thing you really care about is either do they have the speed and do they have the accuracy on it, right? So those are the two things. So basically call this an artisan with speed 147 and then accuracy 137. So this is how I do it. So I can separate, let's say I want to have like, I need more supporters, and I can look, this is this one that gives me plus 147 speed with a plus or with a total of 137 accuracy. And then you can apply that, and then you can do like code the speed value and the accuracy. And this is how you can set up your supporters, because I feel like for your DPS you have maybe 2-3 sets, that's about it, and you split them up depending on what kind of, if you want a momentum, if you want a keen eye or whatever, right? And then you can use something like this system here to make your life easier. Okay, so this is the speed I want, so I put this on this unit, I put this on this unit, and put this unit this kind of set on this unit. And then your speed tuning is easier, because you can say, okay, I know this has 147, the other one has like 150, the next one has 160, and the other one has like 120. And it just makes, okay, this has to be this the first one, so first, second, third, stuff like this. So this is how you can also make your life easier when it comes to presets. What should you prioritize in terms of should you farm shell dungeons or should you farm threshold, and which threshold dungeon do you farm, and which kind of inferno should you farm? Like when it comes to inferno really right now, because there are Hoyan and also the Sharon is quite more difficult, and let's not talk about Rango. Rango just needs a nerf before you can enter. Just focus on Nico Nana Inferno. If you cannot farm Inferno, do the Hell versions as well with the other ones. The Hell versions are doable, but if you want to get these free matrices going, do the Nico and Nana Inferno, focus on that. And now when it comes to the threshold, right, what you should farm, should you farm Terror, should you farm Doki, or should you farm Aurora? If you can farm all of them, it doesn't matter if it's just L4, by the way, right? Doesn't matter if L4 is even fine. You don't necessarily need to farm Inferno immediately because you need to upgrade your gear in the first place. The way you can look at your units is go to the filter, select all your 6 stars you currently have, and then look at your units. You'd really have to look at your units. How many DPS do you have there? How many supports do you have? So for example, for me, I have 4 different DPS. I have Messiah, Yali, Ditting, and Ziada, and then I have a lot of supports, right? And you need your units for different setups, different team lineups. When it comes to your DPS units, you maybe need like maybe 1, 2, or maximum like 3 sets, and you're good to go. So if you're struggling with a ideal DPS set right now, then you should definitely opt for Terramaton, because you do want to get that DPS going for your units. Now, let's say you are good with your DPS sets and you have more support sets as support units, and you might like also the speed. You should definitely farm Doki Doki, since your PvE content works perfectly fine with just having 1 DPS unit, and then you provide 4 support units, right? Debuffer, controller, supporter, whatever it might be at the end of the day. You need a little bit more speed on all of them, and accuracy. This is the stuff you need. So that's why you should, in that sense, you should farm on Doki Doki. And then last but not least, if you, let's say, want to be a little bit more fancy, if you focus a little bit more on the PvP side of things, or you see something in here you really want, let's say you want to have like immunity, you want to have blood buff, or also you need maybe your momentum fury, you want to have a momentum fury set, right? So you have the DPS, you have the speed now, and now you kind of want to get more out of your speed to improve something. Now you want to do the Aurora, go get your momentum fury pieces here, and once you can also farm Inferno, you want to get these swift smite pieces as well. So this is how you can structure the way you, whatever you want to farm, right, in terms of your units, so that you make the right progress. So like, it doesn't make sense for you to grind Terramaton if you already have decent enough DPS sets, but you're lacking the speed. Now if you have all the speed in the world and your DPS is lacking, then you do want to get the DPS sets, right? And then if you want to try something new, then also go in here, but use also DPS stats and immunity. Now the second last tip I can give you is do not neglect RTA. Do not neglect the Summit Arena, because here you get a lot of goodies. You get Shadow Imprints, you get perfect lattice fragments, 10 in total, which gives you 1 extra lattice per season, and here's a lot of good stuff. You get LD tickets, you get normal tickets, you get animal crystal points when you want to dupe something, and you get shadow imprints as well, which helps you to get more 6-star units overall. The good thing about RTA right now is even if you lose, you're still getting points, right? So you don't need to necessarily win. So losing is fine as well. It takes a little bit more time, but you know what? You can get, make sure you're grinding your 2000 weekly Summit Arena points, coins, so you can get the most out of the shop, because this helps you a lot with your progression. And now for the very last tip I can give you guys is, in case some of you might neglecting it, because I did it for now too as well. If you're in a situation where you run out of resources, you don't have coins, you don't have module assets, you basically lack resources overall, do not forget that the Ethernet rally exists. The Ethernet rally is an absolute fantastic and amazing spot to really get resource in here. You can get lattice fragments, you get a lot of coins in here, you get module essences, you get gems, you get all the good stuff in here. So definitely do not neglect that. And the outer link section is fairly easy, to be honest. So the outer link you should be able to manage without any issues to get all the good stuff, and then you work your way in the inner link, and then you just see how far you will get in terms of the Ethernet rally. But the first circle should be fairly easy and manageable, so make sure to do your Ethernet rally to get resources. Now, those were all the tips I wanted to highlight today for you guys. I hope this was helpful for you. And hey, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it, and see you with the next one. Deuces.